Hello there, my name is Luciano Oliveira, I'm a Brazilian attorney, and today we're going to be talking about currency exchange fluctuations and real estate investment in Rio de Janeiro. Currency exchange fluctuation is important for investors in Rio de Janeiro because depending on how the currency is exchanging at a particular time, properties in Brazil are going to be cheaper or more expensive depending on the currency relationship. So if you are in the US and the US dollar is strong, the Brazilian real is weak, it may be a good time for you to buy properties. The same reasoning for euro and other currencies. Our recommendation is for particularly long-term investors to keep an eye. For our clients, we actually track the currency exchange and we tell them when the currency exchange shows a particular appreciation of the client's native currency. And this way, instead of just buying randomly, you can take advantage of the currency at a particular time and buy the property for cheaper because of the currency exchange difference. Another way of using currency exchange in your favor is optimizing the currency exchange rate you're gonna get. Usually for beginners, for first-time buyers in Brazil, they may send the payment directly to the seller, and when you do so, the currency exchange is gonna be done by the bank of the seller. The seller usually has a bank account with a commercial bank, one of the many Brazilian everyday banks such as Bradesco, Itaú, Santander, and so on. And these banks, they do not specialize in currency exchange. So their currency exchange rate is not the best, is not ideal, particularly because they have the clients in their hands. The client has an account and they know the client is not going anywhere because the money has already arrived at the bank. Important for you to understand, when you send the money from abroad, the money doesn't go automatically to the recipient's bank account. Instead, it goes to the bank's compliance. The compliance department then is going to run a total analysis of the transaction. They are going to review the contract, the deed, and other paperwork, sometimes even the tax returns of the parties involved. Only after this review, the bank is going to release the money into the recipient's bank account. So when the money hits the bank knows the client doesn't have a way out. The client is going to either close the exchange with their bank or they are going to tell the bank, return the money abroad. However, there is another complication. The person receiving the money, they don't care about the exchange rate because the contract is going to be in Brazilian reais. So from the seller's perspective, it doesn't matter if their bank is giving or not a good exchange rate, because if the exchange rate is bad, guess what? You're going to be the one footing the bill. Therefore, we will strongly recommend that you work with a separate bank, like a currency exchange bank, that's going to work for you and not for the seller. The way it works is like this. You're going to send the money to a temporary bank account for the seller in the currency exchange bank. The currency exchange bank is going to be releasing the funds into the seller's account, but the currency exchange bank is going to be working with you on the currency exchange. Because of this distinction, historically, we know that currency exchange banks provide much better exchange rates than the commercial everyday Brazilian banks. A even more sophisticated strategy is the hedging. If the person is, for instance, from the US, there are some exchanges that offer currency exchange hedging strategies, where you can basically pay an option to exchange the rate in a certain level in the future. That's more like for advanced investors, not for everyday investors, but the option is there. So finally, there is a recommendation for you to work with the professionals in Brazil, particularly law firms who know how to work with currency exchange. Getting a better currency exchange rate alone could make a lot of difference in terms of how much you're paying for real estate in Brazil. I hope this video was helpful. If you like, follow us for more.